Do you think of Wisconsin as a coastal state? It certainly is. With 3 of our borders defined by major waterways, Wisconsin is deeply connected to the Great Lakes and beyond. Join us as we discover Wisconsin ports.
Hello and welcome to Discover Wisconsin.
From local communities to global trade, the story of Wisconsin's ports is one of progress and possibility. Each port and harbor plays a role in shaping our state's economy and culture. In this episode, we'll travel to Green Bay, Superior, Marinette, and Milwaukee to explore the history, industry, and identity of Wisconsin's maritime gateways. A good place to start our journey is here in Green Bay, Wisconsin's earliest permanent settlement, where the Fox River meets Lake Michigan. I'm going to go inside the Neville Public Museum and meet Wisconsin historian Tamara Thompson to learn more. Very cool seeing these old canoes like this. I mean, this is an early carving. It goes back, what, a couple hundred years?
About 400 years old, yeah.
It really reminds you that Wisconsin wouldn't exist without the waterways.
The waterways were very important to the Native Americans spiritually and culturally, but it was also a connective waterway connecting the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River, and this was very important for the Native Americans even before European settlers.
Green Bay is recognized as Wisconsin's first permanent European settlement, but take us through the history on that.
Jean Nicolet was the first European explorer to come to this area. He came in 1634 and he stepped foot on a place just north of here called Red Banks. European settlers began establishing a community here in Green Bay. They called it La Baie Verte. And this was an important place for them to keep trade goods, items that they could trade with the Native Americans to collect furs. And then eventually those furs were put on ships and sailed out of here. After the Erie Canal opened in 1820, we had an influx of Europeans that came into the community and they brought with them their trades. And this became an important lumber port, and eventually it transformed into the paper industry. We had establishment of big farms, production of dairy became important, and of course meat, the meat packers were here in the community. Before there were roads and railways, the easiest way for us to connect on the East Coast was by water.
This is fascinating history. You really get a sense of how important the waterways are around here.
Thanks for letting me share that with you.
Historically important for trade and transportation, these ports and waterways still provide the most efficient and cost-effective way to transport bulk commodities. So we're standing here on the Grassy Island Range Lights, right where the Fox River meets Lake Michigan, a crucial geographic spot in the state of Wisconsin. It's also home to the Port of Green Bay, and who better to talk about that with than the port director here. Dean, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
How many terminals do you have here?
We have 14 businesses that operate within the Port of Green Bay, moving vessels in and out, and we see about 175 vessels on an average year coming into the port. The primary cargoes that come into the Port of Green Bay are limestone, salt, coal, forest products, petroleum products, diesel, gasoline, ethanol, liquid asphalt, cement. Then we have all kinds of unique, diversified cargoes that come and go. The port is responsible for about 1,600 jobs a year, and we have an economic impact on an annual basis of over $220 million.
That's pretty hefty.
Anything that's in the common interest of those 14 businesses is what the port works on. What that involves is making sure the channel is dredged in full draft, authorized, and that's done by the Army Corps of Engineers. Making sure the aids to navigation are in place so that the vessels come in safely. And then in addition to that, then we work on economic development opportunities, putting new property into port use, preserving old property and trying to repurpose it into port use.
So it sounds like with all the dredging and everything, there's a lot of environmental issues to take care of. How do you do that?
We have the Cat Island Chain Restoration Project, which is a repurposing of dredge material to create islands that have disappeared due to high water. We're reestablishing those islands for the birds and for the fish. It's a great partnership with a bunch of state and federal agencies to return value to the environment.
So we're right at the junction of the Fox River and Lake Michigan. You have I-43, I-41, there's railroad tracks right here. I mean, this is about as multimodal as you can get.
Which is why the port is so essential in serving the area. We have a reach as far south as Sheboygan, over to Wausau, and up into the UP. That's our catchment area for bringing things in and out of the Port of Green Bay.
Certainly indicative of how important Green Bay's port is in Wisconsin and on the Great Lakes. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Next, we're heading to Superior. Considered the largest freshwater bulk port in the world, the Port of Superior Duluth serves terminals on both the Duluth, Minnesota and Superior, Wisconsin sides. Bulk goods leave here and get transported through the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence Seaway to destinations all over the world. SS Meteor. It's one of the coolest things to see here in Superior. Dates back to 1896 and we get to stand on it. So Eric, here at the western tip of the Great Lakes, this is a great time to ask, how does Wisconsin fit in with the whole Great Lakes system?
The whole Great Lakes system is interconnected. Every lake is connected to another, and we're connected to the Atlantic Ocean by the Seaway and the Sioux Locks in Michigan. And so Wisconsin's been a key part of this for over 150 years.
How much tonnage? I mean, this is the largest freshwater port in the world.
System-wide, there are 252 million tons of cargo moved every year across the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River and St. Lawrence Seaway. Here in Wisconsin, we move about 25 million tons of cargo each year.
So you're with the GSGP. What is your role with all of
The GSGP stands for the Conference of Great Lakes St. Lawrence Governors and Premiers. We're an organization that unites the 8 state governors and the 2 Canadian provincial premiers of all the states and provinces that border the Great Lakes system. We have a dual mandate to support economic development of this region's $9.3 trillion regional economy and also help with protection of the world's largest freshwater system. We work a lot with the Department of Administration as well as the Department of Transportation to guide our work and make sure that the research and the work that we're doing kind of meets the needs of Wisconsin as well as all the other states in the region.
So the Great Lakes are about 20% of the world's fresh water. Lake Superior is about half of that. What are some of the challenges protecting these waters?
I think the challenges are really balancing all of the competing uses for the region in a way that allows for economic development to happen, but also doesn't degrade the quality of the lakes in the future. It just takes creative thinking to figure out how to do things differently and smarter than we did in the past.
The Port of Duluth Superior is the biggest and busiest port in the Great Lakes. It's a vital transportation hub to the region and beyond. We're standing in front of this big pile of limestone. What are some of the imports and exports that come in and out of here? Seems like a lot of stuff.
This is really characteristic of what our port handles, these bulk type of products. Limestone, calcium chloride across the slip here, but you've also got a very important commodity that comes out of northeast Minnesota called taconite. It's for steel making. And Superior also has a very considerable coal facility that ships coal from Montana and Wyoming for energy use out in Detroit and Michigan.
All kinds of stuff transfers here.
Absolutely, it's a hub. It's a transportation hub. We have all 4 of the railroads, major railroads that come through here.
That must support a lot of jobs around here.
You know, absolutely it does. For the Twin Ports, about 7,300 indirect jobs and about 2,300 direct jobs. And you know, these are 3 or 4 generational families that have worked in these types of places, and they are good paying jobs.
Well, Jason, thanks for showing me this. You know, I've been to Superior a number of times. I've never been right down here at a slip seeing where the magic happens.
The scale is something that you just don't get when you're driving through, and I'm hoping that the state of Wisconsin and the viewers can really kind of get that scale.
This is North America's farthest inland freshwater seaport, located over 2,300 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. But it is considered an international port, thanks to the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Seaway. So, Mike, one of the cool things about this is you actually grew up here in Superior, and now you're with Great Lakes Seaway.
It's the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Seaway Development Corporation, which is a wholly owned corporation of the U.S. Department of Transportation. The mission of GLS is to operate and maintain the locks on the St. Lawrence Seaway and assist in providing economic development for all the ports on the Great Lakes.
That's a long haul. It's over 2,300 miles from here in Superior to the Atlantic Ocean.
Lake Superior is at 601 feet above sea level. There's a series of 17 locks to get those ships from this level to 601. So they raise them all the way through that system, and if they're leaving here going to the Atlantic side, they're lowering going all the way down.
So I understand the U.S. and Canada work in conjunction, not only in the economic side, but to help keep everything safe.
Yes, we are in constant contact with the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation, which is the Canadian counterpart to the GLS on the U.S. side.
There's a lot of ways to move things from place to place. What is it about shipping, particularly on the Great Lakes, that makes it so viable?
The ships that can fit through the locks will carry 25 to 30,000 tons. If it was going by train, that would be 3 train loads. If it was going by truck, it would be thousands of trucks to get that cargo from one end of the lakes to the other.
The city of Marinette sits along the south bank of the Menominee River, directly across from Menominee, Michigan. For generations, port activity has shaped the community's growth, identity, and way of life. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Eric.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming to Marinette.
Nice to be back. The Menominee River and the port here has clearly been a huge impact on Marinette development.
It's been massive as far as economy, population, growth. It's touched everything.
The history of this port, shipping now, but logging through history too.
Oh my goodness, this actually was the #1 exporter of logging in the world back in the 1800s. At one time, the city of Marinette was the 3rd largest city in the state, and it was because of the logging boom that happened.
How many jobs in the Marinette area depend on this river and this port?
Between Wapaka and Marinette Marine, Fincantieri, you're probably talking about the largest employer in this area. It's about 5,000 to 7,500 jobs.
So these large companies doing all this here in Marinette, they partner with the city on certain initiatives too.
These companies have helped to not only shape our community through the people, but they've also shaped our community in giving back to the community. We have a recreation center that both Fincantieri and Wapaka helped build. And this is a facility that has a NHL-sized ice rink, pickleball courts and tennis courts and basketball courts, the turf center that is the exact same turf that is down for the Green Bay Packers. And so they're creating these programs that are allowing the kids here in our community to learn how to become engineers, how to become welders, how to become electricians. The initiatives and things that they've created, they're going to show a lot of growth. We know what our sense of direction is, and that it's community. The people here are pretty special.
Well, Sean, this has been fascinating. It's nice to get some insight. Thanks for all the info.
Thank you for coming, and thanks for asking. It's been great.
One of the city's major employers is Fincantieri Marinette Marine, a world-class shipbuilder that sends vessels across the globe. They are deeply rooted and committed to the local community. Marty, Fincantieri Marinette Marine has been in this community since the 40s. What's the history of this place?
It started with a couple of patriots to support the war efforts back in World War II. We started out building wooden barges. Today we're still building warships for the United States Navy. This is the multi-mission surface combat ship we're building for the United States Navy. And we have our sister yards in Sturgeon Bay and in Green Bay who also support these efforts, and they also do a lot of commercial work in those areas.
What are some of the innovative technologies that you get to use when you're building these?
Over the years, we are innovating more into virtual reality stuff that works between engineering and production, that we can actually look into a model and see how the product goes together. We have the exoskeleton where people can actually wear this and it helps their back and their arms, shoulders. And a new thing we just brought online is we call it the Fiore app. It's a tough book for all of our supervisors. They can actually bring out to the floor, pull up drawings, anything they need right here.
We've seen that, we've seen some of the robotics. It's really impressive technology you have here. Fincantieri is the biggest employer in Marinette and in Door County. How many people work here?
So in the state of Wisconsin, we employ about 2,000 employees, and we do a lot of our own in-house training, and we partner with Northwest Technical College, try and retain the people, get them the good training they need, so we have high-paying jobs and they can move up. And so far, it's worked for us. We have multiple generations that have worked here and continue to work in here. Fincantieri Marinette Marine, we're one of the largest employers in the community. You will see a lot of our employees out coaching, volunteering, doing a lot of nonprofit volunteer. So a lot of community engagement in this small area.
Even the high school team's the Marinette Marine.
Marinette Marine, yes sir.
So what does it mean to the employees of Fincantieri Marinette Marine to be able to build something like this?
There's a lot of pride that goes into these because we know what we're building them for, to support our country and our sailors out there on these ships.
Next, we head to the Port of Milwaukee. And last but not least, we're at the Port of Milwaukee. The Port of Milwaukee delivers year-round commercial services to its tenants, but its impact goes far beyond industry. With public lakefront spaces, a cruise and ferry terminal, and close ties to the city's cultural scene, this port is woven into the social fabric of Milwaukee. It's a place where global trade meets community life. This really is one of the more beautiful ports I've ever seen.
I would agree, but I'm biased.
Well, of course you are. You've been their port director for many
right.
years. How many ships come in and out? They call them transits, right?
Yeah. In terms of commercial ships, we see over 300 ships in a season. We think about the common imports and exports, there's three. Steel, agricultural exports, and then salt, which Wisconsin winters.
What's the economic impact for the city?
It's huge. About $150 million a year. The good thing about the port is we don't just cover our costs, we also get a little bit extra, and then that goes back and then offers some tax relief to city residents.
Obviously, your number one priority is commercial shipping. You have cruise ships too. What else does the port do?
We're proud to be the home of some very popular Milwaukee attractions, one of them being a Discovery World, Harbor House, which is a restaurant that's here in Milwaukee, but also Milwaukee is the city of festivals, and we are home to Milwaukee World Festivals. No other port in the country can say that they have this.
There's a lot of ports on the Great Lakes, but very few have ferries that will actually cross one of the lakes. We have one here.
Lake Express Ferry is an option that takes passengers back and forth between Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Muskegon, Michigan. It's about a 2.5-hour ride. We're proud to call Port Milwaukee a part of our city, and I believe the residents would also agree.
I headed over to the Harbor District to discuss the port's role in the neighborhood.
Welcome to the Harbor District. The Harbor District exists to lead the revitalization of this incredibly special area of the city. We work in community placemaking, environmental work, and supporting a healthy business climate.
So why is this work so important for the neighborhoods that are just to our west here?
Having an organization like the Harbor District is really important. We sit next to 53204, which is the most economically, educationally, and linguistically diverse space in the state of Wisconsin. In 2019, we opened Harborview Plaza, and we really created it to be a welcoming space for the community to come experience the Inner Harbor, Lake Michigan, and the Kinnickinnic River. We are working on Harborview Riverwalk, which will extend Harborview Plaza all the way to Kinnickinnic Avenue. In partnership with the city, we worked with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to secure $15 million to help complete the project through a Transportation Assistance Program grant.
20 years ago, this was a tile factory and there was a big coal pile here. So you've certainly done a lot in terms of environmental work.
We have a really multi-pronged strategy for the environmental work. One is helping clean up those brownfields and making them into beautiful buildings so that people can have family-sustaining jobs here in the Harbor District. But we also partner with federal, state, and local governments to make sure that everything is cleaner. So there is a generational cleanup happening right now, and that will clean up all of the historic contaminants that are in our waterways. We're really lucky to partner with Wisconsin Coastal Management Program through the Department of Administration. They saw from the beginning that we have set this big vision for how we access the water and think about that in a way that improves our community.
And finally, I met up with Erica Klutmeyer to talk about the Harbor Assistance Program, a program of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation that offers funding to port and harbor communities.
The Harbor Assistance Program has been around for about 45 years. We have invested about $284 million in our ports and harbors across the state.
What are some of the projects you're funding here in Milwaukee?
We have a lot of dockwall projects here right now. I mean, all these port facilities really take a beating, and that's where the dockwall improvements and maintenance are so important. Also, DeLong, they are creating the most efficient loading and unloading facility of agricultural commodities, as well as the cruise terminal. The Harbor Assistance Program and the Coastal Management Program work really closely together. We really have that shared mission to look at our waterways and our coastal areas and really find that balance between economic activities and protecting our coastal resources and our coastal communities.
Wisconsin's ports are vital assets to our economy and communities. They are gateways to the world. State agencies like the Department of Administration and Department of Transportation help balance access, environmental protection, economic development, and quality of life along our Wisconsin coasts.